Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Say hello to the all-new Alexa Plus and see how Alexa can do so much more for you. Need tickets to see your favorite artist? Craving your comfort restaurant? Just sit back, relax, and talk naturally. Alexa's on it. It learns your style, anticipates what's next, and makes it happen across Echo, Fire TV, and more. Learn more at Amazon.com/new Alexa.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And you know what, folks? Things happen in life sometimes for a reason. And today it centers around one of our great listeners, Debbie Lebedo, Staten Island, who just lifted my spirits higher than high. And if you want to see what Debbie looks like, if you go to my Twitter at Dominic TV, it's at the top of the page. You can see her smiling there with her husband, Dennis. They are wonderful people. So there's a backstory to what I'm about to say. Dominic Carter here with you, 800-848-9222. Every now and then I will ride public transportation. Since I have to comment on it and report on it, then I should have a good idea of what I'm talking about. So today I rode New Jersey Transit. Oh no, was that a disaster. A ride that should have taken me start to finish, an hour and 5 minutes, took 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours. And if you listen to my friends on the left, the train was racist. I'm only joking. But my express train, right, that I normally take in, that was 20 minutes late. So I called myself doing the responsible thing and jumping on the local. But the local train took an hour and 15 minutes. Shoot me now. So we finally arrive in Secaucus, where you have to change to get the train to come into New York, to come into Penn Station. And we're on that train. It's like a little shuttle ride, a little 5 to 7 minute shuttle ride. And you hear all the time on your local newscast that the train broke down in the tube. I think that's the word they use for it, in the tube. And once that happens, because there are limited lanes that can come into New York City, it causes a backlog of the trains. So our train breaks down in the tube. The conductor was nice. He kept informing us, I'm so sorry. Our train, the motor has just gone. We're waiting for a mechanic to arrive here. Another 20 minutes go by. I'm so sorry. And then finally they pull up another train to pull us into Penn Station. And I'm thinking we were miles away from Penn Station. We were only about 50 yards from the entrance at the platform at Penn Station. And so, boy, was it rough. So I arrived at work and I'm like, oh. And then I see the photos that Debbie Lebedo sent me, and it made my day. It really did, because we've been reporting on some horrible news the last couple of days. And there are times when this stuff can get to you. And it's one of these times where it's been getting to me. And so if you look at my Twitter at Dominic TV, you'll see a photo of Debbie and her husband, Dennis. And they have on these wonderful T-shirts, Dominic Carter T-shirts. And some of her guests that were there that day when she was kind enough, and Dennis was kind enough to have me at their home, pastor and his wife and others, they have on the Dominic Carter T-shirts as well. And those T-shirts look pretty good on you folks, if I don't say so myself, Debbie. And folks, if you get a chance, go check out one of my websites, DominicCarterBooks.com. I had to think about it for a second. DominicCarterBooks.com. So thank you so much for that, Debbie. You really are a lifeline. There are some of you that I reach out to on a personal level, And Debbie is one of them. She really is the real deal. And thank you. I'll never forget the fact that you opened up your home. And Debbie, I know you didn't say anything. You spent hundreds of dollars on that food that day. She's an excellent cook. And I just want to say thank you, and thank you to Dennis for opening your door, and I'll be in touch. Thank you so much. So let's get to it, folks. I had to deal with my down moment of the day. Musa. You know, I'm not even paying attention. I'm not paying attention to Mom Donnie, who wants to hire a defense lawyer who represented an Al Qaeda suspect. I'm not even focusing on that today. I'm not even focusing on the great councilwoman, Vicky Palladino, is under attack because she said that we need to monitor Muslims, or at least stop it temporarily, that are coming into America. And you can't even say that out loud. She's been forced to pull down her social media comment. I'm probably going to deal with that tomorrow. But coming up at the bottom of the hour, as we do every Tuesday, former Congressman Peter King will be joining me live. So President Trump is facing backlash. We already know the Rob Reiner horrible situation and what the president put on social media, pointing out that Reiner suffered from severe Trump derangement syndrome. So what does Whoopi Goldberg on The View, what does she do? She goes on TV. Now remember, her boyfriend at the time dressed in blackface. And she's got the nerve now to criticize Trump. Listen to this emotional appeal from Whoopi Goldberg.
Our minds around the awfulness of these things, then we can open our hearts to all the people who have had to deal with this. Mm-hmm. All the women, all of the men, all of the people of color, all the Jews, all the folks who have had to deal with this struggle. I don't understand the man in that White House because he talks so much about Charlie Kirk and caring. Mm-hmm. And suddenly this is what he puts out. Yeah. Have you no shame? No shame at all? This is can you get any lower? I don't think so. And what do you have to say about what's happened around the world? Where is our voice as Americans? Somebody's got to speak up for us. Our hearts are breaking through all of this. Through Rob, through what's happened at Bondi Beach, what happened at Brown, and you don't find the time to say, as Americans, we hate what's happening. You ain't my president, man.
Oops, Whoopi. 10 seconds later, the bean counters at ABC that watch the show because they know they're going to be sued. She had to come back and admit, oops, my bad. The president had acknowledged those other situations and the loss of life. So listen, you can agree to disagree with me on what the president said. I wouldn't have handled it that way, but I understand the frustration that he has. He has it a million times much harder than I do from these nuts that are always picking at you. Okay. And I'm not saying Mr. Reiner was a nut at all. By all accounts, he was a good man, but you know, this Trump derangement syndrome, 800-848-9222. You know what, folks? Up at Providence, Rhode Island, Brown University, the community and the media, they've had it with the officials there. They have a president at Brown. This lady knows nothing. And the officials, with all due respect, it's like Barney Fife meets Barney Fife. They don't know anything. It's bad. And so I want you to listen to this from the Fox News channel. The media has had it with the officials at Brown University and how they're handling that shooting where 2 students are dead and 9 others were injured.
I mean, they got the guy's height, they got his weight, and they go, well, you want to update the country on what this guy's ID looks like? And they go, we'll put it on the website. Right. You have millions of people watching the press conference live, and you don't want to tell anybody? You say, oh, I'll put it out on a website? Come on. Is the guy 220? Is he Caucasian? What? They didn't even do it. And then they get the timeline wrong, like Dana said. I couldn't hear a word he said. Everyone's trying to back off. No one knows what's going on. It's 3 days later. after a gunman walked into an Ivy League university building and murdered the vice president of the College Republicans, killed 2 people, injured 11, and walks away. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he is, and doesn't seem to be that concerning to the people that were delivering that press conference. This was a premeditated target attack. The guy was casing the facility beforehand. They have 800 cameras at this university. They didn't have a camera at the entrance to the building, so you can see who goes in and out of the building. This is stupid. I feel bad for the people of Providence. I feel terrible for the people of Brown University. And they have to get this together. It was 20 minutes after the shooting took place that they even sent out an alert to the student body. They never even had any sirens going off on campus. They didn't even do it. They blew it. And then they got the wrong guy and said, oops, okay, well, never mind. And then they say, trust us, the place is safe. Well, I'm sorry. No one trusts you guys. It's a mess up there. And I really hope they get this guy soon, because every day that goes by, you know what I mean?
The officials up in Providence, they are facing a hard time because they're not providing many answers. The police commissioner was not at the initial news conference. Then he shows up. I don't know what his experience is in law enforcement, but he has a heavy Spanish dialect. So you got to pay close attention to listen to what the police commissioner is saying. This whole thing is a mess. 800-848-9222. Line 1, Tony, Long Island. Tony, what's on your mind?
Dominic, how you doing? How's everything?
Good. Go right ahead, please.
Listen, get back to Whoopi. It's all right what she and the crew on The View do to Donald Trump and abuse him and the family and everything else, but she can't take it back. I mean, look, I would have handled it a little differently myself, but look, you see what they've been doing to this guy from day one. So this is probably his way of getting back at her. But it's one of those things. What can you do?
Yeah, Tony, I would have handled it differently, but we're not in Mr. Trump's shoes. We haven't been indicted, mugshot and everything else, on a political witch hunt. So it's easy for us to judge, but you should never judge a person until you've walked a day in their shoes. I would have handled it differently. This is a situation where perhaps the president should have just remained quiet, but Trump is who he is. He's not a politician. And that's one of the things that I love. He's not a phony. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. You may not like it, but it is what it is. Tony, thank you for the great call. Let's go to Jerry, line 4, Staten Island. Jerry, what's on your mind?
Yes, Dominic. One thing I want to bring out that Joe Biden, he was never.
First of all, it's hard to hear you because you have the radio up in the background, so it's very distracting. But we're going to try. Go ahead.
Yeah, the President Biden never once, he always blamed all Trumpist voters to be garbage, to be the enemies of the country. And look what he did to the people in Palestine when they all got, and now they talk about that Trump is not taking care of the American citizens. These people are sick-minded people. Trump is doing the best that he could ever do. This is the best president we ever had in the United States.
I agree with you on that, Jerry. Do me a favor, please. The next time you call, do not have the radio up in the background. It's very distracting. It's very hard to hear what you're saying. On that note, folks, it is time for a break. Coming up in minutes, former Congressman Peter King will join me live. We have a lot to talk to, but when we come back, we'll let you hear what Mayor Eric Adams has to say about Australia. Plus, we'll have more of your telephone calls.
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. All right.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back, soon to be returning to your telephone calls. But first, in 800-848-9222. Mayor Eric Adams, only days left in office as the mayor of New York City, appeared on CNBC discussing what happened in Australia and how it all relates to New York and Mamdani. And you put it all in one big pot, and it leads to a very scary situation as it relates to anti-Semitism.
Look at Sydney right now. Have you heard the Sydney government, have you heard them talk about anti-Semitism in this attack? Have you heard them since October 7th, 100,000 Jews in that country? Have you heard them stand firm? No, you haven't. And that's troubling. And if the leadership of a country or a city is not willing to point out when a particular group of people in that country or city are being harassed, harmed, threatened, standing in front of a synagogue, calling for globalized intifada. If we're not willing to stand up as the leader of the city and say this is wrong and it's not going to happen, that is what's troubling. Anti-Semitism has been normalized across the globe in general, but specifically here in New York, and that's what Mayor
let me ask you about this next mayor then.
Yes.
So what do you think his real position is? By the way, he came out, to his credit, I think, yesterday, put out a statement about not just what happened at Brown University, but what happened, at Bondi Beach. And I just wonder what you think it portends for the city.
Well, he has to corral his supporters, and when you go into office with your staffers, your supporters, and their philosophy is the destruction of Israel, and translate into what you verbalize and what you show here in your city, that's a problem. And he must corral his supporters and send a very clear message, not only about what he say, but it's in action. Don't dismantle the IRA definition. Don't dismantle my Office to Combat Anti-Semitism. Keep doing the groups sessions that we're doing with communities across the city to bring us together. So you can say in one breath that Israel does not have a right to exist. Then you have so many Muslim countries that have Muslim leadership. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Oman. I've been to Jordan. They are clear Muslim countries, and they have a right to exist. I respect their right to exist. Israel has a right to exist. Our only partner, when you think about it, they're against ISIS. ISIS hate America. They're against Hamas. Hamas hates America. They're against all these other terrorist groups who hate America. I'd rather align with those who love me than those who hate me.
Let me ask you, sir.
Absolutely. I'd rather align with those that love me than those that hate me as well. That's why I'm such a strong supporter of Israel. Let's go to Sandra, line 2, New Jersey. Sandra, what's on your mind?
Oh, good afternoon, Dominic. Dominic, as I was coming today, I kept thinking about a beautiful encounter I had when I was at Barclays Saturday night with my daughter to see a concert. I was walking in the where they serve the food. I was walking with my big bag of popcorn, and this beautiful black woman says to me, "Hey, can I have some of that popcorn?" I said, "Of course you can." And she looks at me, she goes, "I love you, girl." And I said, "You know what? I love you back. Please take some of my popcorn." She goes, "No, I'm only kidding." But Dominic, the camaraderie between the two of us was so beautiful. And then when I look at Jasmine Crockett teaching to divide people, it's not right what she's doing, because my instinct is accurate. I love all people until you prove me otherwise. And then I learned today, look at the man who saved the people at the Hanukkah thing in Australia. He was Muslim.
Yes.
So we have to figure this out.
You can't, hey Sandra, I'm sorry, we got to toss to a break. You know we love you. You can't judge a book by its cover. When we come back, former Congressman Peter King, live.
The Dominic Carter Show, entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Breaking news.
And this just coming in from Providence, Rhode Island, officials are releasing a new video timeline of the person of interest from that shooting. It doesn't mean that they're closer to making an arrest, but perhaps they're able to at least come up with the actions, the timeline of what actually occurred. So we're monitoring that situation. And joining me live right now, always a great opportunity for me to talk to former Congressman Peter King. Congressman, how are you? Happy holidays to you, your wife, and your family.
Dominic, thank you very much. I'm doing great. I hope you are too, and your family. And we're going into the Hanukkah Christmas season and then the New Year. And let's hope and pray that the New Year turns out to be a little better than what we've been going through the last few weeks.
The last few weeks have been very, very difficult. Let's start. We'll come back to Brown University. Let's start with what happened in Australia. The Hanukkah celebration. These two savages, father and son team, one still alive. Your take on what happened in Australia?
Absolutely terrible. Not as surprising as some might think, because ISIS and all the Islamists, they've metastasized, they've had a rebirth, and they're reconstituting themselves. And especially in this case, we now know that the Australian authorities have been told that the son, at least maybe the father also, they'd received some training at an ISIS facility, I think in the Philippines. And so what makes this different from in the last few years, listen, President Trump crushed ISIS and Al-Qaeda was on the run. And so the last several years, what we would see is the occasional freelancer, the lone wolf who would carry out an attack.
Yes.
Now what we're seeing is people who are actually trained by ISIS, people who are sophisticated, people who know what they're doing. And we have to be very, very alert to this. And that's what really makes me concerned about, first I'll go back to Australia. They should have known, and Netanyahu warned them. They knew they had some of these people under surveillance and basically did nothing about it. So to me, there's a real responsibility there on the Australian government for allowing this to happen. My concern is right here in New York with Mayor Mandani coming in. He talks about how he wants to end the fact that Muslims are being persecuted and they're afraid to go out for being watched. Well, that's what happened in Australia. They stopped watching them. They stopped watching those who should be under surveillance, and we see what happens. There's a reason why. Listen, the NYPD doesn't just decide they're going to go out and start surveilling a particular ethnic group, for the hell of it. Like I've said before, when they were looking for the Westies, an Irish gang, they went to the Irish bars on the west side of Manhattan. When they go after the mafia, they go to the Italian social clubs. You wouldn't go to Harlem to find the Ku Klux Klan. And when we know that there are going to be a Muslim terrorists coming in, and they're that maybe 1 or 2% of the entire community, but that are involved in terrorism, if they're going to be coming here, you have to look in the communities to see who knows about them. Well, are there any rumors, any tips coming from out of there? You have to build up the informers. You have to build sources up in those communities. And especially there are so many different countries they could be coming from. And in New York, New York is like the United Nations. I mean, there's each ethnic group has its own small community, and they branch out from there. You have to have sources in those communities. So when we hear somebody is coming, let's say, from Sri Lanka, or someone is coming from Egypt, to go to that local community here in New York and see what they know. We have to have sources in place there to find out. So anyway, I'm very concerned that what we're seeing now, these organized attacks by Islamists, if that should happen in New York, that was the NYPD will do all that it can, and they have a tight, hardcore group there that works on this all the time. But if you have a mayor that's actually telling you not to do it anymore, it makes it very difficult.
It sure does, Congressman King, and it scares me because Councilwoman Vicky Palladino, and I got to tell you, Congressman, if I lived back in the city of New York, I would definitely want Vicky Palladino as my councilwoman, because the lady, all she knows how to do is fight for her constituents, and she doesn't back up. Well, I guess when you're a Republican, you can't have freedom of speech to post your comments. So she posted, and I'm going to deal with this more in detail perhaps tomorrow. She posted online a comment basically stating the same thing that you just said, basically stating the same thing that I'm saying, basically indicating what every person with a brain is stating, that, listen, this is not about being against the Muslim American community, but there are certain individuals that have got to be watched. That's it. It is what it is. And so she called for, until this thing can get under control, a ban on Muslims coming into America. And she was forced to take down the comment by city council leadership. Mayor-elect Mamdani denounced her. Now, this guy doesn't have much to say about anything. But to your point of yelling and screaming about attacks on Muslims, he said she can't do this. So he has nothing to say about anything, but he can condemn council member Vicky Palladino. So where do we go with this in terms of this political correctness? Oh, you can't look at the Muslim community because that's against them. So in a place like New York, like you just said, where do we go with this? If you don't infiltrate certain communities and monitor what's going on, we're headed for an absolute disaster. So where's the middle ground?
Well, first of all, let me make an admission. Vicky Palladino is a good friend of mine. Just last week, Joe Cairo and I had lunch with her at the Erin's Isle restaurant in Whitestone. We've gotten together a number of times. She always lets me know what's on her mind and everybody else what's on her mind. I may have worded it slightly different from Vicky. I understand where she's coming from, and she's much more right than wrong. When she talks about keeping Muslims out of the country, I don't agree with that, but I understand where she's coming from. Put a halt on things and make sure that the monitoring is much more severe than it's been now. What did Franklin Roosevelt do during World War II? He locked up all the Japanese, put them in prison camps. And 99% of them were innocent people, but he went ahead and did it. So this is not like unprecedented. So what Vicky is really doing to me is sounding the alarm bell that in New York we have to make sure that we monitor very carefully, and the federal government, and that includes the Trump administration, or they have to be very, very careful on who's being let in here. And certainly people come and go. I would have worded it is that we would stop immigration from countries where we are not certain that their immigration vetting policies and their counterterrorism policies are 99 or 100% secure. We have to know who's coming in here, and we have to know the country that is sending them has adequate records on them and is able to find terrorists where they are and let us know about it. So Vicky, listen, maybe she can change a few words around, but she's a tough fighter, and she really represents some people. She took an area over there that really have been, Republicans have let it fall by the wayside as far as politics is concerned, and then maybe if they had a Republican club there, 10 people show up. Now you go, it's standing room only. Because she's really a channel. And a lot of those people are former Democrats. Maybe some of them are still Democrats. But she works hard for the community. She's a real fighter. You couldn't have a better fighter on the city council or anywhere than Vicky Palladino.
That is one tough lady. So let's switch gears if we may. And folks, we're going to get back to your telephone calls in just a moment. We're talking live right now with former Congressman Peter King. Your reaction to the Rob Reiner situation. I couldn't believe Sunday night we were on the air when this all started breaking, and it was very depressing. And to hear that the throats were slit and the son has been arrested and blood found in his hotel room all over the room, and a troubled young man in and out of rehab for years, was homeless, addiction, on and on and on. Your take on the Rob Reiner situation?
It was obviously tragic. I mean, I probably didn't agree with anything that Rob Reiner has said on politics, except I do give him credit when Charlie Kirk was killed. He spoke out against that, made it clear that he was against that type of violence. Listen, I go back to the days where he and Carol O'Connor. I mean, that was like a groundbreaking as far as comedy was concerned. All in the Family was the first of its kind. I don't follow entertainment the way maybe I should, but some of the films, to realize what a wide range he had as far as being a producer, director.
He did.
When you think of someone like John Ford, his movies all had sort of the same tone to them. But Rob Reiner's are all over the place, and so he really was a genius. If anyone to die by being stabbed to death, to have your wife stabbed to death, and to have it done by his son, it's beyond tragic. And that's why I guess you and I disagree. I think Donald Trump should have handled it differently. I understand why Trump is mad. And listen, none of us has gone through what he's gone through. But I just think as president, he owes it to be above that. It's tough. It's hard. But bottom line is what happened there with Rob Reiner, to me, is just it's horrific. And also the whole issue of mental illness has to be looked at really carefully, and we have to realize that it's out there. I mean, Rob Reiner, his son was, I think, in rehab. I was not aware of any of this until just the last day reading about it, but in rehab 17 times or so.
Yes.
Rob Reiner even made a film with him to somehow to try to address the issue.
Tough love. He had to cut him off completely. Absolutely a horrible situation. Well, let's switch gears to Brown University. Now, Congressman, we take so many things for granted here in New York that, you had the arrest in L.A. just the other day of those 4 terrorists. Because generally, I'm putting 9/11 aside. Every now and then it'll happen. He drove the U-Haul truck into the Lower West Side, the people that were standing there. There are a few incidents, right? But generally speaking, law enforcement does an excellent job. And you, having served in Congress, as part of the committee that you heard everything. I don't know how you slept that night, hearing all the things that the committee heard, right. In terms of. Go ahead. Go ahead, Congressman. But what I really wanted to say is that, the Brown University situation, and they have a new timeline now of the person of interest, but it doesn't appear that they're any closer. And by the way, there have been more attacks on these narco-terrorist boats, and I say bravo to the Trump administration. But your take on Brown?
First of all, you mentioned Los Angeles. I should have mentioned that earlier, too. That was going to be an organized attack. We have not seen one of those in the United States in years. So, that, I think, shows that around the world, the Islamists are once more forming organizations. They're not just relying on freelancers or lone wolves operating out of their basement, reacting to what they see on the Internet. As far as
Brown University.
Brown University. Yeah, listen, so far, the police, it seems that they're not as efficient as they should be. I still want to give them a few more days to see how it turns out. But to me, there was a rush to judgment. There was things being leaked out, I thought. And also Brown University itself. I mean, in today's day and age, there are cameras everywhere. And to think there were so few cameras. And I guess the reason they're using is a lot of buildings on the edge of the campus. It was not even so much part of the campus. It was actually in the city itself, or more in the city than in the campus. Well, that's all the more reason why there should have been cameras there.
Absolutely.
And so to me, and also, each of these politicians getting up there, pick one guy to speak and have one person with a message. Don't have the mayor, the governor, the attorney general, the president of Brown, who seems to know nothing at all, and also the police chief himself. He seems that the attorney general was contradicting him. So,
Congressman, I want to say something. I don't expect for you to comment on this, but things are getting so bad in our country. When I saw the police chief finally show up, he didn't make the initial news conference, and I heard him speak. All I could say, and this is going to sound kind of bigoted on my part, all I could say to myself was, where did they get this affirmative action hire from? Because, the politics in Rhode Island are very, very far left. Brown University, far left. The mayor, Democrat, far left. And then you have this police chief, and I couldn't understand a word he was saying. And it's like he's bumbling. It's like, where did you get this dude from? We need to see a police commissioner. Yes, he can be Latino, he can be black, but he should be articulate, or she should be articulate. Congressman, I just don't know. And wrapping this conversation up here, do you think we'll get to the bottom of what happened at Brown? Do you think they will make an arrest, or what do you think happens?
I think we will. I think as more and more video comes out, and someone is going to make the phone call that is going to be the final bit of evidence. But, getting back to what you were saying, when something happened in New York, Giuliani was a spokesman. Bratton was a spokesman. Ray Kelly was a spokesman. Mike Bloomberg was a spokesman. Now we have Jessica Tisch. She's the spokeswoman. You can't have 9 people coming up, each giving their theory on the case, and it's not even over yet. After it's over, everybody can comment and say what should have been done and not done. But to have people coming up and it's almost settled, it's not solved, we're doing this, we're doing that, and putting a spin on it. No, if you're one person, a coordinated message, and that's it.
Congressman King, thank you for joining us. And I got to tell you, buckle your seatbelt, because that Mom Donnie Express is coming to a location near all of us very, very soon. Thank you, Congressman.
And thank God Bruce Boykin's going to protect our border in Nassau.
And I agree. I concur with that. Thank you so much. Folks, I've got to take a break. When we come back, the show belongs to you, your telephone calls.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. So Netflix is basically Santa this year. 2 NFL games on Christmas Day, streaming live. At 1 p.m. Eastern, it's Cowboys, Commanders. Then at 4:30, you've got Lions, Vikings. Midwest football, playoff stakes, and probably some snow. Watching holiday football is a tradition the whole family can enjoy. Open some gifts, grab some food, settle in, and watch NFL Live on Netflix this Christmas Day.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day. I'm going back to your telephone calls in just 1 second. I'm punting so you can have the final word. Coming December 20th, just 4 days, it's home for the holidays with Mr. Christmas. Vinny Medugno live from Studio 77 in the heart of New York City. Get ready to slay your night away with live performances, ugly sweaters, and jolly friends. It's Mr. Christmas, Vinny Medugno, singing your holiday favorites, and the guy can sing. Live in concert December 20th at WABC Studios. For more info and tickets, go to homefortheholidays2025.com. It's Mr. Christmas, Vinny Medugno, live in concert from WABC headquarters in Studio 77. That's homefortheholidays2025.com. Let's go to Adam, line 3 in Florida. Adam, what's on your mind?
You put me in a bad spot following Peter King, but I'll do my best. When you promote anti-Semitism in Australia and don't say anything that they condone it, what do you expect to happen? And number two, the suspects they arrested in that terror plot, they were not wearing MAGA hats like the media portrays us to be as white supremacists going around plotting stuff. It's all coming from the left-wing lunatics. And one more thing, Australia doesn't have a gun problem, they have a Muslim problem. And if we don't wake up in America, we're going to get overtaken.
Adam, thank you for the telephone call. Let's go to Joe, line 4, Ozone Park. What's on your mind, Joe?
Hey, Dominic, I just want to tell you, I love your show, and real quick, I just think the way to counteract the colleges would be, I know it sounds a little crazy, but Trump to sign executive order, bring back the military draft so they'll love our country again, because or else I just think we're lost.
We've got to do something, Joe. Thank you for the great call. Lewis in Florida, line 2. Lewis, what's going on?
Want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and what do you want from Santa Claus?
Yeah, you know, that's a great question, Lewis. What do you want from Santa? I mean, Christmas is soon, but what do you want?
I got my tooth pulled out, my 2 front teeth.
You want your 2 front teeth?
Yeah.
You know,
I got them pulled out.
You know, that's honestly speaking, Lewis. This is going to sound very corny. It's going to sound like I'm in a pageant somewhere. But how about world peace? How about some peace where we can stop? Hey, you got a parakeet? You got a parakeet?
My friend, we're in Flagler, Florida, and we're visiting a 97-year-old veteran, and he's got a parrot called Clancy.
Clancy. Well, tell Clancy we said hello. And what's the first name of the veteran? The 97-year-old veteran.
His name is. What's his name again? Calvin.
Tell Calvin, tell Calvin, even though he's in Florida right now, tell him I hope he can feel the love, that he's the man. Thank you for love to country. You know, Lewis,
and
honestly.
He loves Jesus.
Fantastic. You know, Lewis, it's almost like a trick question when you ask me what I want for Christmas, because, normally I get a few more suits. I don't even do the ties anymore. This is going to sound very arrogant, but I have almost everything that I could want. Everything I could want. I guess, okay, I want that house in Saddle River. I want a house in Martha's Vineyard. I want a house in a few other locations. And so I'm working on that. But, I honestly, and thank you for the call, Lewis. It really is better to give than to receive. Seriously, folks. Let's see here. Let's get in one more call. Robert in Brooklyn, line 5. Robert, what's on your mind?
Thanks for taking my call. Well, Councilman Palladino, she talked about the need to the expulsion of Muslims from Western nations. You had a similar tweet.
Robert, you got 15 seconds. You got 15 seconds.
and they were immediately condemned. But
we said that already.
When you have a guy like Mamdani who talks about, no Jewish people in Israel, that's okay. But when she talks about, or Sessions talks about, that you have to get Muslims out of the United States who want to destroy the country, that's Islamophobia.
I hear you, Robert. You make a great point about Mamdani. Folks, America's heroes need your help. Donate $11 a month and consider making an even greater impact by donating a vehicle or land. Go to T2T.org. I'll see you at midnight.
Take my word for it. I live there. Come to Florida. Get pre-approved right now with my guy Michael Kotze. Call him at 561-441-2730. He's got Choice Mortgage and a great real estate team. Get pre-approved right now. Michael Kotze, 561-441-2730. Buy in Florida right now. Don't wait. Save money on state taxes. Make your move today with Choice Mortgage. Trust me, Florida is waiting. This guy's so good, he did my commercials in Florida too. Mike Kotze, 561-441-2730. All right.